What is going on, guys? I thought this would be such an interesting, and why not put the question out there? I want a debate going on here. So, if you saw the thumbnail and you saw the tagline, it is exactly what I meant. Which is better, Fairy Tale or Seven Deadly Sins? Manga, anime, whatever. I know Fairy Tale has a huge following, so Fairy Tale is going to smash on popularity. I know that. That's not the case. I'm talking about overall material. Like, what do you prefer? As much as I like Fairy Tale and I have been keeping up, I don't do reviews on Fairy Tale no more. I think other people do a better job reviewing it. Kid Otaku, I think you do a better job reviewing Fairy Tale, honestly. I know the thing about Gajeel that's going on right now, but as much as I like Fairy Tale, I remember when I first finally watched The Seven Deadly Sins, and that was actually of the recommendation of Braco Diaz and a lot of them. And I believe Braco Diaz did say that The Seven Deadly Sins is awesome and it's actually like Fairy Tale but better. I believe that's what he said. I think that one of the podcasters out there, one of my podcasts, he says that. I'm not sure. So Brago, I gotta agree with you, man. I really do gotta agree with you, and I know a lot of people are gonna be hating on me on this one. But after watching the Seven Deadly Sins anime series, and I've watched Fairy Tale the anime series as well. Not the recent ones, of course. But I've watched both anime wise. I've read both manga wise. I'm actually up also with the Seven Deadly Sins when Melodonius is fighting the Ten Commandments. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. But overall, I guess the better question would be like the Seven Deadly Sins versus Magi. But honestly, I like this one. I like Fairy Tale versus the Seven Deadly Sins. And I'm going to go with the Seven Deadly Sins. I feel like they have a more interesting adventure kind of story. I feel like they're a little bit tighter. It's simple, but I feel like it's definitely a little bit more tighter than Fairy Tale, where Fairy Tale sets up for these epic moments. And sometimes it does deliver, but then sometimes it seems to fail at what they're trying to do. I feel like a lot of Fairy Tale characters are pretty awesome and they're really cool, but a lot of the Fairy Tale characters are kind of just really awesome in design. Lucy, I'm sorry, I don't necessarily like Lucy, but you can say also the Seven Deadly Sins. Elizabeth is all not too strong, but yet she seems to really pull her weight at some instances and all that stuff. But I feel like the more interesting powers and the more interesting really concepts are of the Seven Deadly Sins. I feel like it's a little bit more of an adventure. I feel like it's kind of like a little bit of Lord of the Rings, honestly, more than Fairy Tale. But I do like Natsu from Fairy Tale. I do. Oh, I love me some Ersa, and I love Juvia. But I just feel like these characters at Fairy Tale, they have all this power in the world. You have Brandish, who's this great villain. I feel like when they tell the story and there's like Hero sets up a lot of these villains in Fairy Tale, it just really doesn't deliver. The only one that really delivers is Agnolia, and I think Agnolia is also really a badass. But other than that, a lot of the even Gajil, or not Gajil, Jalal, I thought he was going to be a little bit. I wanted him to remain a villain, but then when we hear his backstory, this and that, like, I feel like Fairy Tale doesn't take risk, where Seven Deadly Sins seem to not necessarily take risks, but they seem like to know how to execute a lot of the things they're trying to do. Does that mean they're perfect? No, they're not. I mean, having Diane lose her memories again is absolutely. I don't know why we're going back to that. So, the Seven Deadly Sins has a lot of fault, but a lot of the power, especially with Melodonius being the leader of the Seven Deadly Sins, and just the fact that there's seven deadly sins, like, that's pretty awesome, especially when you see Melodonius in the anime. There's one particular scene where he catches a freaking arrow shot across the world and throws it back and pinpoints it to the throne chair. That's pretty badass. I do love the fact that Diane is this giant. I love that. I love that. I love Bond. Bond is immortal. I feel like the 70 Deadly Sins knows the tone right, where they can have fun, yet they're able to execute when they need to, when it comes to fights, when it comes to emotional impact. And there's some emotional impacts in the series, not as well as, let's say, Fairy Tale. I think Fairy Tale does pull the punch a little bit more when it comes to emotional impact. But then that's just, it's not One Piece emotional, but you get the rug taken over. I think the best example of Fairy Tail with the emotional impact is definitely with Natsu and Igneel. Loved Igneel. But even that, I felt like when we were going to get Igneel, it was going to be at the very end of the manga. Even I feel like Fairy Tail, especially with this war, it's failing to deliver a lot of things that you thought it is. And I think that's why it turned off a lot of people within the Fairy Tail fandom. And I'm not trying to upset a lot of people. I'm just trying to have a healthy debate. And I just with me personally, I feel like the Seven Deadly Sins right now is the more fun to watch. It's the more fun to read, and I feel like it's a little bit more better when it's handling the material they're trying to do and really executing with the material they're trying to do. Where Fairy Tail, as much as I like Fairy Tail, there's a lot of times where I get frustrated in Fairy Tail. With the Seven Deadly Sins, it seems like I could be at ease and laid back and just let the story really take hold. And I feel like it is very chaotic at this point with the Seven Deadly Sins, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I really do look forward to that chapter. And I do look forward to the Fairy Tail chapter. I just don't review. I don't review both of them because I already have a lot on my plate. But for me, as a fan, I like to enjoy both of them, and I like to present this topic and really just say to the audience out there, like, what do you rather prefer? Do you prefer Fairy Tail when it comes to the manga and the anime, or do you prefer the Seven Deadly Sins when it comes to the manga and anime? I think both are great properties, but when I have to say, if I'm going to be honest, and I'm always honest 100%, the Seven Deadly Sins takes the cake. It's a good cake. I like pie. Let's go cheesecake. No, that's cake too. I'll go pumpkin pie. It takes the pumpkin pie. There we go. Thank you guys for listening, and I want you guys to write down below and let me know what you passionately, because I know you guys are very passionate, what do you guys think is better? If you want to call me an idiot, that's not the first time. But it's really just an opinion, honestly, and it's just really a healthy debate. I love to hear you guys' thoughts. So I'm Dan Megadeth Son. Always hit that subscribe button if you would. Like the video if you like it, and I want to hear it, man. I would love to reply to all the comments, and let me some Seven Deadly Sins. I'm just saying. But I will say Fairy Tail has a great OST, but Seven Deadly Sins do definitely different OSTs. But thank you guys. I'm out.